TMCnet at NextCom 2008.
Good afternoon, welcome again. Erik Linask coming at you live from NextCom 2008. I'm joined now by Shane Eleniak, Vice President of Marketing for Alloptic. Welcome, Shane.
Thanks, Erik. Appreciate the opportunity.
My pleasure. Can you start us off introducing us a little bit to Alloptic?
Sure. Alloptic itself, founded in '99. We're based in Livermore, California, East Bay. Really has been focused on being a leader in PON technology. We've been involved in PON since '99. Really the first company to think about doing an Ethernet-based PON. Was heavily involved in the standard for IEEE and have really been a leader in developing Ethernet-based PON products. Recently, in the last couple of years, really taken a leadership position both in RF over glass, which is a technology that's really of interest to the MSO community. How do you provide a fiber-based solution that's tailored more for the DOCSIS-based services in their back office, and also in 10 gig EPON, really recognizing that we're seeing an increase in bandwidth-based services, whether it's residential driven by video or whether it's commercial, people going to higher bandwidth commercial services for businesses. And really focused on selling internationally. We've had the good fortune to be able to sell into a number of different countries. We actually have a customer base today in 21 different countries on all 6 continents. So pretty exciting times we're seeing.
Fantastic. Now, one of the things you mentioned is the RF technology, and that's one of the things, the two-way RF is one of the things you're talking about here at the show. What's sort of driving that momentum for you?
Really, it's a key thing we've seen over the last couple of years is that people are finding a lot of complexity or expense associated with IPTV. And I think it's both a middleware set-top box, introduction of new software, introduction of new technology, and the growing pains associated with that. Also, I think it's the cost factor. What they're finding is that the RF head ends that they've got are either bought and paid for, or if they're looking at building a new head end, it's just mature technology that's stable and that's cost effective. But what we're seeing is we're all got used to that two-way RF type of experience, that on-demand functionality. I know myself, I'm used to doing that, watching what you want, when you want, how you want to watch it. And that's really, it makes sense from a service set perspective. And really what they want to be able to do is offer those two-way video, but do it on an RF-based service, and really go in and add that capability. So they're upgrading from a one-way type of service where they're just broadcasting channels to a two-way. And it's really driven by competition and demand from the community. And what we do is we give them an ability to do that, whether with our products or with other people's products. So we've been able to overlay on other people's BPON products, GPON products, our own PON products, and really go in and either retrofit existing deployments or work with new deployments. So it's pretty exciting. We're actually showing the technology that we work with both at the premise as well as what actually goes in the head end with the return path receiver. So really trying to give them a complete solution, but one that's a lot easier to integrate into what they do today. Operationally, it's a lot easier and just a lot more cost effective.
You mentioned MSOs. Are you purely targeting MSOs or?
No, actually, it's funny. When we first thought of the product a couple of years ago, what we wanted was a solution that made sense for the MSOs, and we've got an offering that's good for them. But what we're finding is we're getting a lot of interest from private cable operators, IOCs, incumbents internationally that basically are saying we're going to offer a two-way RF-based video service today. They all want to go to IPTV. They know it makes sense. We're seeing a lot of interest either in hybrids long-term, maybe IPTV for video on demand, broadcast RF type of services, or go to IPTV wholly. But most of people seem to be backing off, saying maybe that's a 2 or 3 year type of time frame. In the short term, we're going to deploy two-way RF, and we're really seeing that across the board, across all the different market sectors, which was kind of the fascinating part. Is we're seeing that same feedback from all of them. That it's they've got head ends, they've got expertise, they can deploy RF video today, they can buy those set-top boxes, there is no new middleware, there is no new product to interop. It's kind of funny if you ever see video go down and then come back up again. If it's an RF video, as soon as the power's back, the channels are back up. That technology is that stable. Whereas, working with software, we all know what happens when you throw software into the mix and the complexity and, software, I don't have the latest software patch. And I think it speaks to the learning periods. I think there are some good market leaders out there that are driving IPTV, so I'm not saying it's not there. But I'm saying as a customer base, we're seeing more and more people saying there's more of a learning curve than we're anticipating here, from driven by cost or driven by complexity. We're going to stay with something that we understand understand, and really just add that two-way capability so that we can have that interactive feature set for our customers.
Now, do you think this is going to be an ongoing trend or sort of a temporary fix for those folks?
I personally think it'll be an ongoing trend. It makes a lot of sense for broadcast TV, even the interactive type of broadcast TV. I think we will see a longer life. It's like any new technology. It always takes a lot longer than we expected, and we see things bridge a lot longer in enabling technologies. And I think the two-way RF is a bridging technology to really extend that. It gives them the capabilities that a lot of people were working and really looking for or trying to deliver with IPTV, but it does it with technology that they understand. And it's just, it's a lot simpler for them to deploy. It's a lot more cost effective. And as we all know, the business case is king. If it's cost effective and it deploys the service you want, it's really going to delay the interaction and, the introduction of the other services.
Geographically, where are you seeing interest? We're seeing there's certainly a lot of interest in generally in communications out of the Latin American market. Is that what you're seeing as well?
We're seeing, really key markets for this particular technology are any place where satellite doesn't own all the content. So where we're seeing, it's North America, it's Latin America. We're also starting to see interest out of places like Korea, out of Japan, Southeast Asia, countries that have a strong CATV type of backbone where they've deployed cable TV and they're used to showing content on cable TV. Some of the other international markets are really owned by people like Sky and Fox, because sport is such a key part of what people want to watch. If all that content's owned by the satellite people, then we tend to be delivering more of a satellite-based solution, and we're also involved in that. So it really tends to be driven by who has the content.
Fantastic.
But it is an international solution that we're seeing.
Now, you're also doing some work with NEC out of Japan, right?
Yeah, we just did a press release. We've been working with these guys for almost 18 months now, really around delivering a VDSL2 ONT. Recognition, what we kept hearing is that a lot of people up to this point were looking at greenfield PON. PON, point-to-point Ethernet, really being driven by new deployment, new growth. What we're seeing is the people recognize the need for the high bandwidth services. They want a ubiquitous service offering, but it's very expensive to replace that last 1,000 feet of copper. They want to push the fiber deep, leverage that copper, whether it's in a building and it's copper in the riser type of applications internationally, or whether it's more fiber or the curb deliveries. But we all recognize we want to do those high bandwidth video services. We want to start doing security type of applications, home automation, and really extend beyond voice, video, and data, and do it across the board. You can't go to a city and say, well, that new greenfield development, you're going to have all these great services. The rest of the city, I'm sorry, you're not. And it's really just recognizing that if we can do it economically over what's in the ground, it'll make the business case a lot simpler. We chose NEC as a partner because of their experience. They've been doing DSL for a long time. They're the market leader in Japan. They've got a lot of DSL lines deployed. Really wanted to leverage their expertise and marry our expertise with PON with their expertise for DSL. And we actually announced our VDSL2 ONT at the show, as well as our partnership with NEC Magnus Japan. So we're pretty excited about that.
I imagine you are.
Cool.
We've been talking with Shane Eleniak, Vice President of Marketing at Alloptic. Thanks for joining us this afternoon, Shane.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your show.
Thanks so much. You too.
Thanks.
Take care.